Too. This is a question for the Hebrew Hammer. So in terms of hate speech, whether it's for, against, whatever, whether it's from a politician, a student, a protester, somebody who's working at a company, what do you think, where's the line between what the government or a private industry should and should not censor and what should and should not be prosecuted by the law, especially with what seems like a increase and resurgence in anti-Semitism and white supremacy, or just any sort of racial tensions that are going on right now?
I mean, to my own detriment, I'm going to say that nearly nothing should be regulated. The only things that should be regulated or censored are legitimate threats of violence and libelous material. And people here always say fire in a crowded theater. That's because they don't understand the Schenck ruling, which was largely overruled by the Supreme Court later. That is not a broad ruling. It was never meant to be a broad ruling, and its use at the time was justified used by Woodrow Wilson as justification to arrest political opponents. So I'd much rather have, I'm more willing to have a free and open political sphere, even if there are more crazies out there, than to have the government sit over all of us and determine what is acceptable speech and what is not acceptable speech. And I've been the target of more unacceptable speech, in my view, than most everyone that I know. And yet I have consistently stood for the proposition that people who have specifically targeted me ought not be even deplatformed, forget about prosecuted, but even deplatformed unless they are making openly violent threats against me and are threatening my family's safety. Everybody knows I'm not a Milo Yiannopoulos fan. When he was thrown off Twitter, I said that was wrong. I'm not an Alex Jones fan. I think he's a joke and a bad person to boot. Anybody who does what he has done with Sandy Hook is not my cup of tea. Also, they're turning the frogs